afternoon. I'm still reporting on the economy from Jekyll Island, Georgia. Will the Republican Party include a call for a return to a gold standard money system in their platform this year? According to the Wall Street Journal, a new gold commission is now being actively considered at the Republican National Convention to sort out how to best implement a return to a gold standard monetary system. I've seen this point in our history coming for the last 20 years, and in my opinion, this would be the final destruction of the United States of America. The real answer to our economic problems is not gold money. Gold money has never worked in the past to enrich we the people. It only works to enrich the banker class. No, the answer to our economic problems is the elimination of two things. One, government borrowing. If government could not borrow, it would have to balance its budget. And number two, the ability of banks to counterfeit the national money. It's called fractional reserve lending. Tying the dollar to gold was a favorite of the king of the robber barons a century ago, J.P. Morgan. Morgan called gold money sound money. But there are other ways to create sound money. Simply have the government issue it without debt and tightly control the quantity. The Republican nominee, Mitt Romney, has even suggested that monetary policy should be kept away from Congress. This is exactly what the Gilded Age robber barons, the Morgans and the Rockefellers, believed as well, because they wanted complete control of American money for their benefit. But this flies directly in the face of the U.S. Constitution. Again, according to the Wall Street Journal article, in fact, it is precisely to Congress that the Constitution in Article 1, Section 8 grants the power to coin money and regulate the value thereof. Bravo, Wall Street Journal. In today's world, the gold bugs include the likes of Ron Paul, Ed Griffin, Peter Schiff, and the Ludwig von Mises Institute. The first 2 minutes of Max Kaiser's latest is interesting regarding the von Mises Institute.
You see, I figured out that the whole Mises Institute was populated with dangerous ideologues, and that these guys formed the basis for the corruption on Wall Street. For the financial terrorism on Wall Street, they refer to the Mises Institute as their ideological framework. That's why they're dangerous ideologues. Now, when we have a guest on the show just talking about it in general terms, he's fired. Now, where do you see that? Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, you see this in totalitarian regimes. Of course, I knew this was the case. That's why we're coming after the Mises. They're fake libertarians out there in the U.S. People who call themselves libertarian are not. They're fake. They're fake Austrian school adherents. And the whole Ayn Rand school is bogus, and from here to Sunday. All those guys are the fake ideologues that are fueling the basis of the Jamie Dimons, the Alan Greenspans, the Lloyd Blankfein, the terrorism.
As I detailed in SR 45, Ludwig von Mises was supported by the Rockefellers throughout his career. Do you really think it's a smart idea to be following the very folk who openly admit to being behind the New World Order concept where national sovereignty is erased from the face of the earth? So why do smart folks like Peter Schiff, Ed Griffin, and Ron Paul refuse to take a fresh look at this question when anyone with a passing interest in American history knows that this is exactly the same philosophy that J.P. Morgan and the rest of the robber barons espoused 100 years earlier? My take is that these guys are all patriots and well-intended. They just grew up at the time when the von Mises folks were in their ascendancy and their real agenda was still hidden. Schiff, Griffin, and Paul would have to admit that they were wrong. They would have to admit that the von Mises / old school libertarians were at best nothing but anarchists, and worse than that, disguised plutocrats. Gold is concentrated money. It is the exact opposite of traditional, democratized American money, debt-free U.S. notes and coins issued by Congress. Do you think in a gold money system, banks will stop practicing fractional reserve lending? Do you ever hear anything about that topic from a gold bug? No. The core of the gold bug anarchist argument is that the average person is too stupid to effectively participate in self-governance. So therefore, all governance should default to non-governance, or at best, governance by bank. How does that work? What happened to the Constitution? History clearly shows that anarchy quickly defaults into the hands of the few and the ruthless, the dictators and/or the banks. In either case, dictators or banks do not believe in the righteousness of humanity's 1,000-year great experiment of escaping serfdom by self-governance. They don't really believe in class mobility or a truly incentive-driven society. Are we now going to throw this all away, tying humanity to their new cross of gold so they can better consolidate their grip on every aspect of our lives? Freedom is a delicate balance between too much governance and too little. What the von Mises folk don't seem to get or deliberately avoid is that serfdom exists at either end of this spectrum. The anarchism professed openly by their hero, Professor Murray Rothbard, does not yield maximal human political freedom. Nature abhors a vacuum. Every anarchy in world history is followed in short order by tyranny and dictatorships. So do I support statism, as some anarchist libertarians have charged? Not at all. I support representative democracy via a constitutional republic. This spreads out power to the greatest extent which is practical. In other words, a pure democracy decentralizes power even more, but has been shown to be ineffective because it inevitably ends up with the voters voting themselves governmental allowances. But even a pure democracy, for example, one where everyone voted on every issue via the internet, would be better than what we have today if you do just one thing: simply made government borrowing illegal. At least that would stop the wild overspending. I'm studying J.P. Morgan and the Rockefellers right now. Morgan constantly supported the gold standard, calling it sound money and honest money. I believe, though I can't prove it yet, that Morgan also considered himself a pirate. Oops, I mean a privateer, which is essentially a pirate doing the bidding of a sovereign nation, in this case, the British Crown and the City of London. Morgan's mission was to pillage America and bring it back to heel, reversing the freedoms we won in 1776. That's why he called all 4 of his yachts the Corsair and painted them black. However, he did stop short of flying the Jolly Roger. For more information on the meaning of Corsair, read this interesting article on a possible Morgan ancestor, Admiral Henry Morgan, Morgan the Pirate. Gold is the ultimate centralization of money power. Yes, it is sound money. The quantity is easily controlled, but controlled by whom? Gold money does not democratize the quantity of money to operate for the benefit of we the people. It centralizes control of money into the hands of those best able to buy up the commodity, serving as the monetary base, the bankers. That way, the bankers are in complete control of whether to lend money out or hoard it, cause economic booms or depressions. Again, it's not what backs the money, it's who controls its quantity. Nothing else really matters. Another factor against returning to gold backing for the U.S. dollar is the likelihood that the U.S. government does not have any good deposit gold, as I detailed in SR 37 Fort Knox and in the History Channel's piece in February 2012. Gold prices are already seeing a major move upwards this week, just on the news about the Republicans in convention. As a gold money bill crawled its way through Congress, what do you think will happen to gold futures? Gold prices will skyrocket, $10,000, even $50,000 per ounce. And then, after the bill passes Congress, what happens when we discover that the U.S. government owns no gold, that Fort Knox is empty? Without money, America would instantly become a third world country. So here's what I believe. I believe that a sovereign money must serve the public interest, or the word sovereignty has no meaning. I believe that gold money cannot serve the public interest. I believe political and financial power should be decentralized to the maximum extent practical. I'm still reporting from Jekyll Island. Good afternoon.